We're going to continue our study through the third chapter of 1 John. John continues the chapter. He says, in verse 4, he says, "Whosoever committeth sin, transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law." Last time we left off with he showed us God's great love, and now he kind of switches the subject and he tries to explain to us what sin is. He says that whosoever committeth sin, transgresseth also the law. And sin, for sin is the transgression of the law. So he's saying when anyone goes and commits sin, when we go and commit sin, we are doing? We are breaking the law. And sin is breaking of God's law. What law is he talking about in this book? In this entire book, he does not mention Abraham, he does not mention Israel, he does not mention Jerusalem, he does not mention a single Jewish person in this entire book. The only people he mentions is Jesus, God, the devil, and Cain. But he doesn't mention any Jewish people. So we could presume that he's not talking about the Mosaic law, the Jewish law, but he's talking about the eternal law, which is God himself. In the book of James, the Apostle James says, if you fulfill the royal law according to the scripture, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, you do well. So James reveals to us another law. He calls it the royal law. And the royal law of the scriptures is thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, to love your neighbor as yourself. So here John as well is talking about not only the law of Moses, but he's talking about the law of God, which is God himself. God is the standard for morality. When we commit sin, we do something that God would not do, and we do something that love would not do. We do something to a different person that we would not want them to do to us. And when we commit sin, we break the law, and we do something that is not loving, and something that is contrary to God's character and God's ways. In the book of Romans chapter 13, the Apostle Paul says, "Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law." And then he lists the commandments of the Mosaic law, and he says that those commandments will be fulfilled and must be fulfilled by love. He says, "Love doeth no ill to its neighbor, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law." That love doesn't do anything bad to its neighbor, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law. If you love someone, you don't steal from them, you don't lie to them, you don't kill them, you don't do all of these sins, love will fulfill the law. If those laws are not being fulfilled, those commandments are not being naturally fulfilled, then that is not truly loving your brother. A true love will not only give emotions, good emotions, but a true love will fulfill the commandments of Moses, and it will actually take you beyond the commandments that God gave us.